Hello and welcome to another edition or issue of Drinking with Comics. I'm Shawn, number 10.
Woo!
Wait, yes, number 10.
Double digits. We made it.
We did. Well, that implies that this is it, though. Is this
No.
the final
I'm saying
issue?
we made it to double digits. No.
Do I die at the end of this issue?
That's up to you.
Or am I being
Joe.Baxter.
replaced by somebody else?
No, there's no replacing.
Okay, I'm just checking because you never know with comics. Because if viewership is down, they might decide to kill me off and then bring on Don Johnson or somebody.
Ooh, Don Johnson.
That might work.
I didn't want you to die until you said they would bring Don Johnson on to replace you.
Yeah.
Suddenly, I want to do a show with Don Johnson.
Might end up waking up in the trunk of another car next week. Anyway, so we have Mike.
Hola.
We have our science officers, Sarah and Erin. Joe.Baxter.
You said our name right.
Yes, I did.
All right, cool.
We have a live studio audience. Hello, guys.
Hey.
Thank you for coming.
The three amigos back there. Three musketeers.
So.
Three musketeers. Because it's drinking with comics.
That's good. Nice. So, okay. Immoral support. That's good. I don't think we need much of that, but it's all fuel, so that's good. I want to start. We don't really have any mail this week, but okay. So I've got a lot of kind of personal mail that has been inquiring. A couple weeks ago, Joe.Baxter tried to kill me after I revealed his secret identity.
Yes.
And so people have been like, "Are you guys cool? Like you keep doing the show, but you guys have had guests, and is that like some kind of a buffer for an uncomfortable work relationship?"
Want witnesses for whatever is going to happen. Yeah.
But no, Joe and I we're solid, man. We're good. I mean, even to the point where recently he came to me. He's doing some kind of murky research for AIM or Hydra or one of those, and he asked me to help him out.
Gotten thicker.
Well, that's part of it.
Yeah,
they're seeing how. They're testing facial hair and its radioactive properties after it's been exposed to MODOK.
I think he's spending too much time in the editing booth. But.
Maybe. But, so he came to me and said, can you help me out with this project? And so I did. And, I mean, so this is how that went.
Concentrate. I want you to tell me what comic you think it is.
Thor?
Close, but definitely wrong. Clear your head. All right? What is it?
Is it Sandman?
It is Sandman. Think hard. What is it?
Elf number 8.
Close, but definitely wrong. Ready? What is it?
Uncanny Avengers.
Incredible. 5 for 5. You can't see this, can you?
No.
You're not cheating me, are you?
No, I swear. They're just coming to me.
Nervous?
Yeah. I don't like this.
Don't worry, you've only got 75 more to go. Okay, what is it?
A Voice in the Dark number 3, but it's a sketch cover, a variant by Laramie Taylor.
This isn't your lucky day.
Hey! I'm getting a little tired of this.
You volunteered, didn't you? I'm paying you, aren't I?
In Pogs, what are you studying here anyway?
I'm studying the effects of negative reinforcement on ESP activity.
The effect? I'll tell you what the effect is. It's pissing me off.
Well, then maybe my theory is correct.
You can keep the Pogs.
I will, mister.
Okay, so now we're back, and so you see how that went.
That was amazing.
We won't ever speak of that again. So everyone's giving 2 thumbs up.
Well, the cool thing about YouTube, and you viewers at home can do this, you can actually, if you want to watch that again, you can just pull your little browser back.
Yeah.
That sounded very
sexual.
sexual.
That was a Justin Timberlake song, right?
Pull your browser back?
Pull your browser back?
Or
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
So, okay, another order of business. The last time we filmed, we had out-of-town guests in, Chris Weiderstrom and Tori. How do you say Tori's last name?
Hoagland?
Okay.
Hogan?
So they came in. I'm ignorant. I've been friends with her for years, and I've never. Anyway, whatever. So they brought us this wonderful bottle of Goose Island Sofie, and this is from Chicago. I
Okay.
don't think they actually brought it from Chicago, but it's available here now. But we'll say that they did. So
we can't buy we're gonna
no,
drink
you
this.
you can buy
we
this.
can't buy this here.
You can buy this here.
Okay.
But so it was like a reminder that they came from Chicago, and like, hey, wanted to give you something that made you think about Chicago. And
Every time you say Chicago, I think about Chicago.
yeah, because the accent comes out right. So, it doesn't have a cork. Okay, well that doesn't matter.
Okay.
So,
Let me smell it.
smell. I'm not one of these bouquet guys, but yeah, I don't know. So we're gonna.
Glug, 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 glug.
Okay, so they have this series of these like really top shelf Belgian inspired beers from Goose Island.
Got like a cidery smell.
The one that I'm pretty sure I've had this. However, I think it was probably at the tail end of several of these, and so I don't remember it. The one I'm more familiar with is Matilda, which I believe is a darker one, and that it's a little chewy. It's good though, but man, it'll mess you up.
Chewy.
Chewy, kind of like
You speak like a beer connoisseur.
No, I don't. believe
Chewy
me.
beer. It's a little chewy. What does that
Don't
mean?
let
with
him
beer?
fool you. He is a connoisseur.
No, I'm not.
I bet he
You
is.
make me sound like the most interesting man in the world. I mean, not like literally, but like the guy with the beard.
You guys want some of
The
this?
Hemingway
Yeah,
knockoff.
hand it over to
So pass that around.
the science officers.
And
okay.
Thank you.
Take one down.
it reminds me a lot of holy smokes. There's a brewery from Canada, Unibrew. They do these beers. They come in bottles kind of like that. And
do they all look like Bert from Bert and Ernie?
No.
All the people that work there.
you've seen them. They have all of the bottles they're beautiful. They have these labels that are themed on, like one is La Fin du Monde, the end of the world.
I've had La Fin du Monde,
Maudit,
yeah.
the Damned.
Yeah, I've had
And
that.
it's one of my favorite breweries. And
That is
this
good
reminds me of, I forget if it's La Fin du Monde. It's one of them because it's been a while since I've had any. Oh God, they're
Dude,
fantastic.
yeah, you'll be really proud of me. Let me interject real
Okay,
quick.
yeah,
I know we
please,
always talk about
please.
like stuff we're doing. So the Comic Bug is actually going to be promoting or involved in a party at Stone Brewing Company at Comic-Con on Wednesday night.
Really?
Yeah. Now the hitch is it is from 7 to 10 p.m. and I have to be at Comic-Con from 6 to 9 p.m. So I'm not gonna be there as much. But I'll be there at the tail end, and then there's an after party next door. So,
Nice.
But yeah. So if you can come down, dude, that would be great to have you.
I didn't plan. I was telling Don in the audience earlier, we were talking about Comic-Con, and I've never gone. Initially, when we moved out here, it was like always something I thought about, but it just didn't work in.
Right.
And that was kind of before it really became what it has become in the last 6 or 7 years.
I
really,
think we should get a panel there next year.
I think
What
that'd
do
be
you think,
great.
America?
So, flood the Comic-Con.
What do you think, Paul Register?
Hey.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I've never been, so I mean, it would be cool to go.
Hashtag DWC Comic Con
What do you think, Coldplay?
2K15.
Sorry.
He's like, hey, I think your body's stupid. That's what I think. But their new single is doing good. That Garden Ass. It's they played on K
What
Rock
is it
earlier.
called?
I think it's Garden Ass.
Oh, Flower.
Yeah, it's
Garden
doing well.
Flowery
It's not
Assholes, I
good.
think.
It's not good. It's not a good song, but
Wow.
not much Coldplay. Quality. Anyway,
Back to
so let's talk about the Stanley Excelsior Award. Couple weeks ago, I guess, Joe.Baxter, he has these shadowy lines of communication. And one of them is this thing, I think it's just catching on, it's called Twitter or something? Is it just German, right?
Twitter.
Like Twitter?
Tweeter.
And he was telling me, he's like, hey, this guy, Paul, that runs the Stanley Excelsior Award, contacted me, and he had actually, so he and Joe.Baxter have struck up an acquaintance, and
Oh boy, that sounds.
and he revealed to him the final contestants is the wrong word. What do I want?
The nominees.
Nominees. There you go. Contestants, like it's the Price is Right. And
Come on down.
Basically he said, I'll let you know who wins, but
So this
I
is
don't
a
want you
UK-based award.
UK-based
from what I
award.
understand, yeah.
Paul Register is the gentleman that runs it. Joe, do you want to interject anything?
Just it's chosen by kids 11 to 16, like middle school or I don't know what it's called.
So they won't. Sex Criminals is probably not a nominee.
No.
Okay. Although it's a great book, everybody should read it.
You've told us.
I
Yeah.
just
Do you
started
remember
reading that.
telling
I
us?
really like
Isn't it awesome?
Yeah, it's
I mean,
pretty good.
it's a great book.
You-
Yeah,
you do
I don't
remember?
remember top.
Okay.
I didn't see the
Just
episode where I
I was very, very curious.
and I can speak more eloquently on the subject now. I want to take some to the school where Paul registers having the kids I think, hey kids, you guys should read this Sex Criminals book and maybe consider it for the 2015 awards.
Do you think maybe you'll be dragged away by the bobbies?
I think Paul will stick up for me. He's
Okay.
a fan of the show. He's like, no, he knows what he likes. He knows what he likes. And the kid, anyway, go ahead.
No, please. So
By the bobbies, is that what you said?
yeah, isn't that what they call? Whatever. So, the final 3 nominees were it was Rick Remender and John Romita Jr.'s initial run on Captain America, which is the Dimension Z storyline, which
Good stuff.
I absolutely loved. There's a moment in that where I think it was the Cap basically gets kidnapped and taken to Arnim Zola's dimension, and
See you tomorrow, Damon.
the second issue basically starts out with a black page that says 11 years later, and you realize oh shit, Captain America's been in Dimension Z for 11 years, and he's got
That's
the
always
full beard, and he's literally been living.
I love it when
in
they
hiding.
skip ahead like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, it was so whoa, wow, that's pretty ballsy.
Yeah.
But most of what Remender writes is ballsy, but we'll get to that later. So, but the other 2 nominees were Quantum and Woody, which is a Valiant book.
Yeah, Jim Asmus, I think, writes that.
Okay.
Yeah, for
and
stories.
Earth 2, which is DC. It's New 52.
Never read it.
I've not read it.
Is it
either.
good? Yeah, people that have read it swear by it. I had a guy yell at me yesterday. I did a podcast. I wasn't cheating on you,
That's
baby.
fine, it's fine.
It was some friends in North Carolina, and they called in, they called me, and I said something about Earth 2. I don't even remember what it was, or maybe they mentioned Earth 2. I was like, I haven't read it. And then they were like, well, fuck you, you better read that. It's the best book ever.
Wow.
And they really like it, so maybe I'll read it.
Well, it's
Probably not.
now, Don, if you would like to contribute, if you want to talk on the audience,
Since
mic,
neither of us
because you
have read
obviously
this
know about it.
award-winning.
But it's like a parallel. It's not the regular DC continuity, right? It's like a different.
Just like in the old days with it's Earth 2.
Yeah.
Is it?
Oh, we have a microphone over here, Don,
Wait,
if you'd like to go
is it
say
actually-
that poignant thing again.
Well, like in the old days, it's Earth 2, the parallel world from the main DC universe. So you've got another Flash. In the old series, it was all the Justice Society characters pretty much lived there, and now they tuned it up, made it more new. I'm not crazy about all the uniforms, but overall the artwork is stellar and the stories are good.
That Nicola Scott that draws that?
Nicola Scott, yeah, she's fantastic.
All right. Well, I mean, maybe I'm missing something. It definitely seems like it's probably not burdened by the New 52 continuity that seems to constantly be caving in upon itself.
Not so much.
Okay.
What's wrong with the New 52 continuity?
I don't know. I started with it. I really liked several books when it first started, and the one that I hopefully I've not told this here before, so I hope I'm not repeating myself. But alcohol does do that. I always use Dark Justice League as the example. I was reading several books. That was one of them. And Dark Justice League started out really good. They kind of took the old Vertigo characters. Anything that was Vertigo, they pulled it out of Vertigo and put it into DCU.
Oh,
so
yeah,
like
Justice League Dark,
Constantine,
you mean, yeah.
Zatanna.
Yeah.
Justice League Dark, that's it.
Yeah.
So, which Guillermo del Toro is working on a movie. I don't know if
Apparently, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So, Swamp Thing, and actually Scott Snyder's Swamp Thing book was fantastic.
It was, yeah.
And I didn't think I'd like it because I'm like, he's not Alan Moore or whatever. But no, it was really good. But the Dark Justice League, or Justice League Dark, it did this thing where I think it was Peter Milligan or J.M. DeMatteis.
Peter Milligan's a good writer. I haven't read it, but he's a good writer.
So
he did X-Force.
It started out.
Lemire wrote on it too.
Yeah, Jeff.
Who wrote before Lemire? Was it Milligan or was it
Probably
J.M.
was.
DeMatteis?
Yeah.
I can't
I think
remember.
it was Peter
offhand.
Milligan.
Okay.
We'll figure
Anyway,
that out
so it
later.
started out very much like there was a Vertigo light element to it, but it still worked, and it was like, okay, we're going to take this kind of tone of the Vertigo stuff and integrate it into this corner of the DC universe, and I liked it. And then at some point, right before Lemire took it over, because I think Milligan walked maybe, but this is where you started to see reports of like the editorial bullpen like really kind of running the show at the New 52. And I remember over the course of 3 issues, I said it became way less Vertigo and way more superhero, and they had basically turned like Constantine into a superhero. They kind of put these, they've kind of forced them into the superhero context, and it just did not. To me, it did not work.
Do you want some? Go ahead.
No, there were some other books I was reading at the time, and it started to feel like they didn't have a handle on what was happening.
You want some DC dirt?
Yeah,
some inside.
Sure.
I mean, I had like a beer.
Nobody's gonna die because of this, right?
I don't know. We might not be able to order DC Comics after I spill this dirt. So New 52. So I don't know if you remember, but like a year before New 52, Superman did the thing where he was gonna walk across America. It was J. Michael Straczynski, and it was called Grounded, I think. Remember that? And you're yawning. Are we boring you?
No, the storyline is boring.
Yeah, it was a boring storyline. Okay,
let's take Superman and just make him walk.
So like
why
3
fly?
issues in,
he's a superhero.
Right.
Why fly?
3 issues in, he quits, and I'm like, and Straczynski, I'm not a big fan of him anyway. I won't say mean things about him.
No, it's
but I'm
just
not a
you know,
fan.
some writers you take.
I'm like, oh, that figures. You know, yeah, he like decides Superman's gonna walk for a year and then quits 4 issues in. So then some other poor asshole had to like write the rest of it where Superman's walking.
Oh, I thought you meant Superman quit walking.
No, Superman kept walking.
I'm totally thinking like
Straczynski's quit writing it. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna do this thing where Superman walks across America and he quits.
I'm thinking he like finds his first Hardee's and he's like, shit, I ain't leaving.
Yeah, no.
And then it's just like 6 months later, he's just still there eating, and he's like, this is amazing.
Right.
Now wait a minute.
So it's called Grounded, and he's walking across America, just dealing with everyday people, which is an interesting concept. But the guy that conceived it quits 4 months in, and then it turns out he discovered that about 8 months to a year later they were going to do the New 52. So anything he does is going to be irrelevant. So he quits. He's like, screw this.
I don't blame him.
Yeah. So the entire DC universe rebooted 33 issues ago, and we had New 52. Except if you look at it, Green Lantern kept the continuity. Every single book like totally rebooted except for Green Lantern. And what I heard was
Batman didn't either. Batman
Inc. Batman Inc. didn't, but it wrapped up and it's
I know. But anyway, continues on.
But so what I heard was Jeff Johns and Jim Lee were the sort of wheel masters of all this, and Jeff Johns put it in that you've been writing this Green Lantern book for so long. I have like a game plan for it, and so he's able to continue with his story, but everybody else's stories had to like reboot.
So wait, let me ask you. So the Green Lantern, now is this continuity still going or did it end?
Well, he left after 20 issues, but it didn't reboot. No.
So it didn't reboot. Did it keep the same
Blackest
numbering?
Night still happened. No, it did start over number 1.
But it was just the same.
It was like
continuity.
same continuity. And correct me if I'm wrong. Nobody here reads this stuff, I guess, but so you'll just have to take my word for it.
I knew so many people that recommended Blackest Night. I read one issue. I get like it's a very. I think Jeff Johns there's a classicist element to what he does. It's like there's kind of that nod to the 50s, the golden ages. I read one issue and I'm like, I hate this. And not that it's bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I just, again, some writers you connect with, some you don't, and some just rub you the wrong way. Not because it's bad, just because it's
Jeff Johns, he rubs you the wrong way.
I just didn't like it wasn't the writing, it was the story, it was everything about it. Just seemed reminded me a lot of Jeff Loeb, where I'm just like, I don't like anything you write at all.
Wow.
They not that it's bad. It's just my personal taste.
People take inspiration from different things. Like Dave Lapham obviously is he's a crime guy, and he looks outside of comics. I think Jeff Johns doesn't look very far outside of comics.
No, and I think he looks back on the classic era, and so that's good. I mean, I'm actually glad. And,
Mark Waid does
the
same thing, but Mark Waid does it well. I think. So yeah. Anyway, but back to the Excelsior Awards.
So the winner was Earth 2, and. Let's give Earth 2 a round of applause. I've not read it, but like Joe.Baxter said, it's actually voted for. So this isn't just like some academy. It's like, oh yes, decided that we like this. No, it's this is put to, what's the age group again?
11 to 16. So, I mean, here's what I like about this award. I like that it's making kids read comics. I find some of the nominees a bit suspect. There's a lot of great comics out there, and I don't know if Earth 2 is the best of the year.
Well, but maybe that age group, that's what's connecting. That's what's landing.
I don't know, maybe. And I looked at the last 5 or 6 years of it, and again, it's like, like, because I think of like Daredevil. I think, but you know what? Those comics are constantly winning awards, so it's like, hey, it's good to give love somewhere else.
That's
and
true.
what I really like, Paul, is that you're having kids read comics and you're having them vote with, and maybe some of them aren't so ingrained into the comic book community that they're biased by what everybody says is great.
Well, and I mean, I definitely think that you bring up an interesting point, but I think that we are definitely disconnected as our age group, late 30s, early 40s. Comics evolved with us, and so they've gotten more sophisticated, and they know that we're their bread and butter because we're still reading and we've been reading, and we're making our kids read, or not making, but whatever.
Well, Paul, register is.
Well, but so that's maybe not who's voting. Maybe it's the kids that are walking into a comic shop the way we did when we were 11 and finding the stuff, and that's I mean, they're daunted by so many books are written. A good example, Uncanny Avengers by Remender. Early in its run, I remember reading some of the letters pages, and I remember people being like, "I can't believe, like, I would never read this book because it's so adult and it's dark and because they're not writing it for that age group. They're writing it for, like, Rick Remender's writing it for us.
Is he?
I mean, if the other people are down with it, that's cool. But and it's also there is continuity, even though it's like Marvel now. They did the smart thing, in my opinion, and they didn't say, all that stuff that happened the last 50 years never happened. We're starting from scratch.
Right.
They were smart about it. They were able to do this super soft reboot where it's like, look, you don't need to know anything to start reading this, and anything you need to know will tell you. And it just works so much better than alienating everybody that's gone through decades of like, what do you mean Final Crisis doesn't mean anything anymore and blah, blah, blah.
Have you read Final Crisis?
I actually did. It's the only Crisis I've read, and I don't understand anything that happened. So I read it again with annotations because I'm that big of a Grant Morrison nerd, and it's genius. I still don't understand everything because it's...
I think they should pay people that when you have to read a book with annotations. I don't want to bash Neil Gaiman, but annotated Sandman, come on, man.
Okay.
All right. Sorry.
Ben,
sorry, Neil.
Ben that works
I know if he's
here,
watching at this point.
Yeah, he might be. Ben that works here brought up a good point. We were talking about Grant Morrison. I was saying how his Batman run is amazing, but if you don't read it with the annotations, we've talked about this before, you will miss so much stuff. And he said, well, yeah, but isn't that then not a good comic if you need annotation? But, okay, maybe. But the other thing is sometimes you get somebody that wants to do something that's so huge and like just ambitious that hey, I'm gonna take all of your continuity from the beginning of Batman to the end of Batman, and I'm gonna sew it all together, and nobody's ever done it before, but I only have 7 years to do it or whatever. I mean, he's going to leave you in the dark unless you have somebody kind of holding your hand. And when I had the guy that did the annotations, we put him up before, I can put up again. It's just genius. But most of it I missed on first pass because I'm not that familiar.
Final Crisis, you mean?
No, well, the other thing is, so Morrison also wrote. I was specifically talking about Batman.
So Morrison doesn't write the annotations himself?
No. This is some really hardcore dudes did it, and they did a really good job. It's been a while, so I'm forgetting about it.
A toast to those guys who annotate things.
Can I?
A toast.
Is there anything left in this, Sofie?
Yes.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm gonna shift gears. I do like the Sofie, but I'm gonna shift gears to something else because I want you to have all that. Okay.
Joe, Erin,
I'm gonna go over to Alaska.
I'm good on this for now.
Can I have this? Whose is this?
Yes. So we brought this as well. So let's.
I'm gonna drink the Alaskan Amber. My best friend used to live in Alaska.
I'm sorry. This poor, like, you should smack me.
That is a bad
You should actually smack me harder.
You want me to smack you harder? All right. You want to smack him? Should we have the studio audience come smack you? There's only 3 of them tonight.
I feel like the thing where...
I think Joe. really wants to smack you.
Yeah,
Joe. Come on.
Yeah, but he wants to smack me with that spiked glove that he keeps in his back pocket.
Well, it's better than those other things he does with it.
I feel like the thing would always be like he'd fight the Hulk and then the Hulk would punch him and he'd be like, "You Mary," which I guess back then was like a PC way of, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so Alaskan Amber.
It's good. It's cold, as you would imagine.
It's a very good beer. Actually, if one of the science officers would give us some information on Alaskan Amber, that would be amazing.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I've had it several times. They have another...
Apparently it can cause problems during pregnancy.
I think that's...
And a risk of birth defects. And it impairs your ability to drive. a car
Really?
or operate
That's
machinery
nuts.
I appreciate music.
Okay, this is
and may cause health
interesting.
problems. And appreciate music? What?
Alaskan Amber is called an alt-style beer. Alt
It does.
means old. This refers to the aging that alts undergo since they ferment more slowly and at colder temperatures than most beers.
I told you it was cold.
It's supposed to be pretty malty.
Mm-hmm.
It is based on a recipe from a turn-of-the-century brewery in the Juneau area. It was voted best beer in the nation in the 1988 Great American Beer Festival.
Wow.
Oh,
If
it's
you look
made
through the
from
bottle, you can
glacier
see
fresh
Russia.
water.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, this is really the worst port. Look at that. Wow. Actually, would you pass me one of those Alaskan?
Dude, I am drier than Betty White's vagina tonight. I'm sorry.
Damn. do you know Miss White? Are you familiar with her?
I would just
In a-
imagine. I mean, do we really want to know?
No, but okay. So let's talk about. First of all, let's do this. What have you read that's recent that really, rocked?
Oh man, where do I start? This. Oh, all right. So here's Mike's bi-weekly Guardians of the Galaxy. Excited. This was awesome, and this was and like members of the same team, but in very different
Star-Lord,
ways.
Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah. Rocket Raccoon, Star-Lord.
Scotty Young, Chicago boy.
Is he from Chicago?
Yeah, he just signed.
Does he live there now?
He just signed at Amazing Fantasy. My Chicago. Shout out
Do
to
you have his
Amazing
phone
Fantasy.
number? Can we get him out here? I'd fly him out.
Really?
Yeah,
He
I'd
did
fly
with
him out.
Burnham, too.
Huh?
He's friends with Burnham, too.
Really?
Oh, is he? Let's get him out here.
All right. Well,
It happened on episode 10 of Drinking with Comics.
Let's
Now,
see
Scotty,
what-
if you're watching, dude, we'll get you out here. I'll put you in a nice hotel. We can sign Rocket Raccoon. It would be awesome.
all right.
Let's make it happen. Anyway, this is a lot of fun. Rocket Raccoon is just, crazy, balls out.
Does he do the thing? We talked about this in the first or second episode. I read the Bendis, when it first relaunched, right?
Yeah.
And he was doing this thing that kind of creeped me out, where as he was shooting people, he was going, "Murdered you."
Oh, no, he doesn't
Is
do
that
that
like
in
his
here.
catchphrase?
No,
That's not
this-
his like snick. Is it?
I
'Cause
think
it
that was like
creepy.
just Bendis
Okay, it was
running out of
creepy.
dialogue. I
I don't think-
obviously always says,
I don't think Bendis runs out of dialogue.
you don't think he does?
No, I think the man can write good dialogue.
He does, but
forever.
Yeah, this is a fun one because he rescues a princess and then it kind of catches up with them later, and it's him and her and things just aren't going well.
Okay.
And it's a fun book. Yeah, it's really fun.
It looked cool. Down
And
in
it's
the audience,
got
showed
it,
it to me earlier. It looked good.
you won't find another book on stands that looks like this. And it
No,
looks
that's
good.
definite.
Yeah, it's great.
He has a really unique and very cool style.
Yeah. And Star-Lord is it's just to me it feels like it's in the tone of what we're going to see in the movie. Star-Lord's been around. Let me just show you. Since the 1970s, when hair was better,
Nice.
women were more subservient, and it was just a better time. And they wore far less than they do.
We won't
Hashtag
be-
feminism.
Yeah, we won't be
Right.
winning any awards.
No, but it was just a better time. I lived in the 70s. Unfortunately, I had not hit puberty yet, so I wasn't able to take
Likewise.
advantage of moments like this. But now it's like, notice, Star-Lord today, no woman on his leg, right?
That's true.
He's on a mountain alone.
That's true. That's
He's on, what is that thing that you go on now? Like you can like him or not like him, it's on your phone. Tinder, yeah.
What?
He's got his
Oh,
Tinder
yeah.
right here. He's like, shit's just not working out for Star-Lord anymore,
What?
you know?
I don't do.
You don't know about Tinder?
No, I don't know what it is. What is
You
it?
should check it out
Okay.
sometime. Fortunately, my phone doesn't have memory for it, or I would be on it.
Okay.
It's like a video game, but with vagina at the end, or penis if you're a girl, or maybe if you're
Wait,
something else.
this sounds like chat roulette, right?
No, it's different. It's
You-
science officers, please explain Tinder in a way that I cannot.
It's
If
like
you want to go into a bar and you want to hook up and you don't want to talk to him, it's basically like a hotness meter.
it's like who's in the area, right? Like
Yeah,
who else
yeah,
on
it's
Tinder, they're like,
geographically
hey,
based.
But
wanna
you
hook
don't
up?
want to
This
talk.
dude's
Wait,
on
let's not
Tinder.
get. Let's. You don't want to talk to them.
Well, you have to talk to
You
them.
talk
Okay,
to
I
them.
thought this was
But
something
it,
that now
it gets
like
you there because it's like, hey, don't know who to talk to. This dude's on Tinder and he's real close by. Go find him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then do you stand up and go, "Who's on Tinder right now? Is this
And
you?
you have to-
Are you Jackal 1?" Shawn with a Y.
You have to look on your phone. You can't just yell in a bar who's on. But you might as well just go to a bar at that point.
No, but my point is, so
That's
it's
too old.
Which we should try tonight. Let's go. Who's on Tinder? Let's just skip it.
if you're in a bar and your phone is saying there's somebody in this room and let's say there's 100 people in the bar, or let's say there's 40 people in the bar,
Right.
and it's saying this person's nearby. Is it like beep 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 like the
Oh, like,
alien
like-
meter? You know, like they're like you're getting closer. They're
You know
all
what?
around
I
us.
think we're on to something there.
There's
I think
hot
we can
people
take
all
it to the
around
next
us.
level, like Tinder 2.0. You know,
Vasquez.
I like it. Let's do it.
You ever been mistaken for a man? No, have you? Sorry, had to do it.
Well, back to Star-Lord. Which, you know, if you mention the word Star-Lord on Tinder, you will not get Tindered.
Doesn't Star-Lord just sound like 70s rock?
It does, yeah.
You know,
so,
like
Star-Lord.
and that's one of the things I'm just going to talk for like 20 minutes about how excited I am about the Guardians of the
I'm
Galaxy
pretty
movie.
excited. We're going.
Yeah, we're going. It's going to be awesome. I mean, it looks like throwback sci-fi fun,
Yeah.
which, you know, the latest Star Wars trilogy included was not really fun. You know, it's going to be great.
I think a lot of sci-fi is one of those things where it's kind of had to fight to stay alive, especially in Hollywood and especially in comics, you know.
Yeah.
And Remender's kind of really brought it back. Tonight's drinking game, by the way, is every time we say Remender or Rick Remender or a book that he writes, take a shot. So most of you are already drunk now. If you're we probably should have put that at the beginning, but so that's your okay. But you know, especially in movies where it's like, oh, so Star Wars is this franchise. I think when those prequels came out, it was the idea that like, well, we're sci-fi, but we have to. I don't know. It was
You
just
have to explain everything.
yeah, and it just. You know, I've said here before.
Which, as an
I don't
atheist,
hate
I
them
love
like most people
explanations.
do, but
Yeah.
you know.
I was not mad that they added midichlorians to the mix. I was like, oh, cool. There's a scientific reason for Jedi.
It didn't bother me.
That's cool.
I mean, I still say he killed, you know, all the kids in the school and the sand people and sand kids and
That was
sand
cool,
women
right?
and
Didn't
sand
get that.
dogs and I mean, it was dark. Anyway, we won't go on a Star Wars tangent, but
Okay.
well,
can we do one real quick?
yeah, oh yeah,
Because we are gonna the expanded universe of Star Wars.
you have the event coming up.
Brian Wood's coming out August 23rd. We've got, it looks like Carlos D'Anda, although he's not been very committal in his emails. He'll send an email to Brian like, that sounds like really cool. And I'm like, so dude, let me know if you're coming. I'll tell people. And, you know, hummingbirds or what is it? Crickets.
Crickets.
Yeah.
Cicada or
So,
cicada.
I was like, do I really want to go? But we do have Gabe Hardman and Karina Becco who from Legacy. We've got Barbara Kiesel from Dark Empire. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Okay. Barbara Kiesel from Dark Empire. We've got Chris Gossett who designed the double-bladed lightsaber.
Oh, nice.
In Tales of the Jedi, which was used like a couple years later in
The prequel.
The Phantom Menace. We've got the Rebel Legion coming.
Is that like actual rebels?
Rebels, yeah, and even some Empire people have snuck in.
So you might have like some kind of a fight here.
I hope so. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's going to be pretty awesome. I mean, it's, you know, it probably won't be as big as Free Comic Day, but it's going to be every bit the spectacle that we have at Free Comic Day. And if you're a Star Wars fan, dude, yeah, you'll have to come out. Are you a Star Wars fan?
I'm not a fan,
Can
but
you fake it for like the next 2 minutes?
Yes. I love. No, you know, I grew up with it. I like it. We've talked about this here before as well. Like, I do like it.
We might be able to get Chris Gore out here in his Slave Girl Leia outfit. That would be awesome, right? Have y'all seen pictures of this?
That was
Yes,
good.
that would
That
be
was
both awesome and disturbing. Which is that's a line
It
from a
kinda
Star Wars movie,
hand in
isn't it?
hand.
Sense
Well, I think I've
awesome
got a
disturbing.
bad feeling about this is also a
Yeah,
line in
yeah,
Star Wars.
good point.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of events, I want to ask you a question. So recently you had the Hellboy Mike Mignola event with
Mike Mignola? Uh-huh. It's okay. I didn't know how to say it either until he corrected me.
I can't pronounce
several
anything.
times.
So you had a problem with the books, and
Did.
I only saw this through Facebook. So explain to me, because it sounded like the port was basically like, we're holding these.
Here's what we did wrong. We scheduled a signing on July 5th. So it's a high terror alert time for America.
Oh, okay.
So anything that comes into port is like super inspected.
Okay.
And also, it's all, I didn't know this, and we didn't know this when we scheduled it. It's a time for like contract renegotiations with port people.
Did you get caught in the strike?
We got caught. Well, there wasn't a strike. There was a slowdown.
But there.
Did you hear about this?
There, exactly, because that's where we live, and
Okay.
It was 12 12 contractors did go on strike.
Oh, okay.
Just a small percentage of them, and meanwhile the rest of the unions their contract ended, but they're still in negotiations and they're still carrying on working, but some did walk out.
Oh, okay.
Some other ones.
There was what they called a slowdown. So you have a slowdown meets a terror alert meets, the signing having problems. But we worked through it. We found some solutions.
And Mike was awesome because
Mike and Christine
they came in like a week later, right, and signed everything. Was that?
They came in. Yeah, we actually got the books the following Wednesday, so like 4 days later. We got the books. And they came in and they signed everything. They brought a ton of like statues. I don't know if anybody here came to the event, but they brought a bunch of statues, the BPRD artifacts, which they'd already committed some to the event. Then they like doubled up on that.
Oh, nice.
They really, nobody walked away disappointed that the thing they came to get wasn't here. and they're still getting that too. And it was really cool. And Mike's awesome and stepped up in ways that people at Long Beach Port didn't. But that is their thing. Like, I understand you want to get your contracts right and make sure you're getting paid.
Well, and they're not aware of the specific.
I have friends that work down there. I was like, dude, so if I find out what dock it's in, can I come down and give you like $500 and a copy of the book because they're like Cowboy fans down there, and they're like, I wish I could help you, but I can't. There's so much red tape. So, but anyway, it all worked out.
All right. I was just really curious because I only saw it in sporadic Facebook updates and whatnot. And so
I was pulling my hair out.
I'm like, what happened? Because I'm thinking
So did you go through a third-party distributor that was supposed to bring them up once they got offloaded on the boat, or were you supposed to go pick them up originally?
No. We the book was supposed to be out the Wednesday before the signing, and then it got pushed back. There were production delays, and but the people at IDW said, well, you know what? Yeah, the rest of the world's not going to get it till...
Wait, it's IDW or Dark Horse?
IDW. They do the artist editions.
Oh, yes,
it's the format.
Yes, that's right.
So they were like, we'll be fine. We're just going to get it directly to you rather than... Because what happens when you make comics is they're printed, wherever they're printed, Texas, China, wherever. And then they go to Diamond. And then they go from there to be distributed to all the shops. And we were just going direct from printer to the store for this event. Okay. So. But yeah, it all worked out.
All right. I
have a few more gray hairs than I had before that.
Hey,
it's
man.
All good.
It's all experience. That which doesn't kill you only makes you a bigger comic book fan.
Only makes you drink more.
Yeah, that's true.
Cheers. Any questions in the audience? How's everybody doing?
Cheers. Nope.
Good.
Cheers. Cool. Yay.
Is that Racer? Oh, that's good.
Yes,
That's
Racer
good.
5.
That's good.
You booze hound.
I bought it because it looks like Speed Racer.
Yeah,
It is.
It's good beer.
And it's also, I think, a 9.5, isn't it? 8.5.
7.5.
Okay.
So
Close.
I want to talk about something two things that blew me away that are recent. First one, I came in. I love this about you. Like Mike or whoever at the store does it, they'll put things that aren't on my pull. Like he might like this. They'll put it in there, and usually I buy them. Now I'm a huge Walking Dead, the comic book Walking Dead fan. It just gets better and better every issue. It's almost unbelievable. For like 10 years, it just gets better every issue. But the other stuff Kirkman writes, I haven't read. Invincible, it's kind of one of those things where I know people say it's amazing. One day I will read it. I haven't read it yet. But he's done a Thief of Thieves, and there's been a couple others, and they're kind of smaller series. I just haven't picked them up. Just there's.
He doesn't write Thief. He kind of conceptualized it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, didn't he do? He had a Wolfman book too, right? Like,
Astounding Wolfman.
Yeah. I haven't read any of those.
Did you read Battle Pope?
No. Good.
Yeah, that was his first thing. It was fun. Yeah.
And, there's only so much time. There's only so much money. So even though I love Walking Dead so much, I just haven't jumped on anything else. So you guys had put the first issue of his new series, Outcast, in my box, and I actually passed on it. I put it back on the shelf because I was like,
go for on eBay nowadays. Outcast #1.
I will look.
It has nothing to do with Outcast, like the group, the hip hop.
No. Is that what you thought when?
No, not at all. But so I put it back, and then I had one of these like series of serendipitous events where it was the next day at work. We always have Kevin and Bean on in the morning, but I've taken
$10.
Okay. I've taken to. I always have my iPod in, so I haven't heard Kevin and Bean for a while. But one of the other guys comes in later on, and he's like, "Hey, did you hear Kirkman was on Kevin and Bean?" And he was talking about his new book, and it sounds awesome. It's like demonic possession, which has now become a genre in Hollywood that I'm tiring of very quickly. But so it was that, and then there were like 2 or 3 other things in the same day where it was like somebody mentioned Outcast or whatever. So I actually think I emailed you and said, "Hey, can you throw Outcast in my box?"
And I was like, "Didn't I do that already?"
And I was like, "Yeah, I'm a dumbass." So, but anyway, so I came in the next week and it was there, and I read it, and it's really good. Really looking forward to this. It seems like he's going to write it. It seems like maybe a slow burn, a big picture. It is demonic possession, but I think there's more to it than just your traditional demonic possession. I just want to say that, to me, The Exorcist is one of the scariest movies. It actually, scratch that, scariest movie ever made.
Yeah.
The reason it's so scary is because I don't believe in the devil. If I watch The Exorcist, I believe in the devil for about 2 or 3 days afterwards, and it scares the bejesus out of me. Now, there have been, I remember a couple years ago, I was really, like, there was a movie, Quarantine, that came out. What I didn't know when it came out was it was a remake of a Spanish film.
Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
which is amazing. And the new rec comes out soon, and I can't wait. But so, Quarantine comes out, I saw it, and a friend of mine and I were both looking forward to it, because seeing the trailer before Dark Knight Returns, we were both under the impression it was like, oh my God, this is like demonic. It's a return to that 70s, there was the Great Satanic Panic in the late 70s, early 80s, and so there was a bunch of great films that kind of had demonic possession or demons or whatever in the plot. So Quarantine came out, it wasn't that, and then I found Rec, and it's amazing. But there's now, all of a sudden, there's like, the
Exorcist of Emily Rose.
I mean, well, that actually,
I haven't seen.
I saw it. I don't remember it.
Paranormal Activity.
Deliver Us from Evil.
Well, okay, so here, I got to say this.
And wasn't there one called Deliver Us from Eva too, like some sister?
Maybe.
There was, right? Tyler Perry's Deliver Us from Eva.
Let's not ever speak of
Tyler
Tyler Perry on this
Perry's
podcast.
Why don't they make Tyler Perry movies in 3D? That's my question.
It's a good question.
It's gonna happen. And I'll blame you.
Tyler Perry.
I just want to say that both the new one, Deliver Us from Evil, which I'm going to see. The reason I'm going to see it, and Exorcism of Emily Rose, which I saw back when it came out, and I don't really remember anything about it. They're directed by a guy named Scott Derrickson. He did a movie called Sinister about 4 years ago. It is one of the best horror movies of the last 20 years. So I give him the benefit of the doubt. But anyway, blah blah blah. So. Total tangent.
But Outcast is good too.
Outcast is really good. I think there's more going on than just your straight demonic possession thing, but that's definitely an element. And it kind of is interesting. I'm hesitant to say this, but I have this feeling, I'm not going to go spoilers, I feel like The Walking Dead, the comic series, they just did something where when I read it, I thought it was genius, and I was like, I think we're now working our way towards the conclusion of the comic book
Of Walking
series.
Dead?
It might be. It might be. I'm not positive. There's a lot of ways that it can go. Sarah and I were talking about the other night. I originally thought...
You think they're wrapping it up too?
5 years ago, I thought Rick was dead and that it was going to become Carl's story. Now, somebody pointed out to me, apparently in the first issue, like if you had the floppy, which I did and I read it in trade, Kirkman says at the back, I can't confirm this, but this is what I've been told, like this is Rick's story when he, it follows him when he's gone, it's gone, blah, blah, blah. I always thought it was going to pass to Carl until somebody told me that. I was like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. I really think that they could end Walking Dead within the next 3 to 5 years, and then you know what's going to happen.
What?
He can produce or oversee offshoot books.
Oh, like...
Because it's a huge world. I mean, it's like Romero's world. Romero's world, the beauty of those first 3 movies is what's going on everywhere else. The problem was every movie after Day of the Dead is just fucking atrocious.
You don't care what's going on anywhere
terrible.
else. It's like,
terrible. And then you reboot it, and it's like, why would you reboot something that has so much potential? Anyway, whatever. So Outcast. Hard to get. What, $10?
$10 will get you.
Really liked it. Issue 2's not out yet. Maybe pay the $10 or wait for a second printing. It'll probably happen.
$10. I'll be a tightwad.
Second thing, we talked about this before too.
What?
Big Trouble in Little China #2 came out. seriously, if you like the movie, buy the comic. It's got to be a smaller print run, but John Carpenter is directly involved, and like I am now convinced 100%. Like this is what the next movie would have been.
Derek Powell's involved too.
It's,
I mean, that's
so.
the
How
best
do I know
part.
his name? What else has he
The
done?
Goon?
See, I've never read the
Oh,
Goon.
you got to read The Goon.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to do that.
Okay.
That's
No,
gonna
no.
happen tonight
Okay.
on air.
Okay. I'll read it. Reading Goon Theater,
Yeah.
Chapter 1.
No, The Goon is my favorite comic.
Really?
My second favorite is Fear Agent. Yeah.
I knew that. I thought that was your favorite, actually.
I know. Well,
All right, I'll read
because
it.
Eric did a Kickstarter, and I was like, oh, come on, man.
I'll read The
I
Goon.
don't talk about it as much.
I've meant to read it as
The
another
Goon
one
is
of those.
fantastic.
Another. It's just like Hellboy.
It
I've always meant
fits
to read
right
it.
in with Drinking with Comics. Every adventure kind of starts out in a bar. He's got a buddy named Spider who's a
Sold.
spider.
Don't
Whose
even.
wife's
I don't even want to know
I
anymore.
won't say anything else. But you know what spiders, what they do, like when you have babies with a spider,
No.
the mom wants to kill you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh okay.
It's very similar to real life.
You want to talk about the controversy?
What controversy? Which one?
The
the Rick Remender one?
Yeah, the Rick Remender.
Yeah. Let's
Hey,
talk
take a
about it.
drink.
Take a drink, a Rick Remender. And when we say Coldplay, you take a roofie, right?
Yes.
A Rohypnol.
Yeah, if you're gonna put a Coldplay album on, take
And
something
when we
that
say
will
Neil
knock
Gaiman,
you
take a
out.
Viagra. Right?
Okay.
Anyway, I'm going back to an old joke.
I don't.
And when you say Falcon, you say, oh yeah. So, so yeah, people are upset with Rick again.
Ah, fuck him.
Exactly. I mean,
Oh, there's a great moment in this where, Nick Fury Jr., who is the Sam, they've introduced, we won't even get into this, but anyway, Nick Fury Jr., he's got the cigar in his mouth, it looks like, and Cap's like, you can't smoke in here, and he's like, it's beef jerky, grass-fed. And then, like, the next panel, you can see it's not a cigar, it is a giant piece of beef jerky
okay.
that he's chewing on. It's so funny.
this is the scene in question that got Rick in trouble. So Rick has been in trouble for killing Punisher and putting an N in his name.
And there is an N in Punisher.
No, in like Frank Castle. I guess there's an N in Frank Castle.
Oh, Frankencastle. That was the
like
story,
Frank
right?
and Castle.
Well, basically, like he died. I never read it, but he dies, and then they like sew him back
yeah,
together.
it's fun. I mean, it's ridiculous, but it's fun.
Okay.
And now, this is the problem apparently.
So Falcon hooks up with Armanzola's daughter,
Right. And
so what? People think that she's underage
I guess so.
because
Looks like he's having a good time though.
I don't
And
think anybody like Daniel that works here mentioned earlier.
he met her on Tinder.
Oh, okay. Well, so they have that in the Avengers
Bring her
Mansion.
around. Yeah.
There's
it's on your phone.
There's now so many Avengers that they need Tinder to know who's nearby.
Underage Avengers.
Yeah, there you go.
What was it?
Underage Avengers.
Underage Avengers. They
What
call that Young Avengers.
Yeah,
now.
right. Yeah, exactly. So he was scoping out the underage, the young.
Well-
no. Armanzola's daughter, Jet Black, I think her name is. She's been in the book since.
Yes.
The panel says, I've tried this wine before on my 23rd birthday.
Right.
She says right there that she's older than 23.
Well, and
People
the-
get mad, can't read.
And the
Yeah,
funny
you
thing
can't
is,
read.
the funny
And
thing
by the
is-
way, have you ever had a girl tell you she's 23 and she really wasn't?
No, because
Well, I have.
prefer it to
Oh.
men.
Was it Armanzola's daughter?
Met her on Tinder.
Oh.
Ching!
Her name is Jet Black, and she's hanging out with the Falcon.
Well, okay.
Right. Who is a member of Dark Avengers. So, what?
Oh,
Sorry.
the
Hashtag
no, that's
racism.
fine. The funny thing is the other element of this to go super hyper nerd. The dimension that they live in. So Cap was like kidnapped in the Dimension Z storyline that from the Excelsior Awards. He was in this dimension for 11 years and comes back and it's been like a day or whatever. So clearly she's aged more. So she's probably older. She's probably like 78. So I mean, she looks good for 78, but whatever. So I mean, yeah, they're having a good time. Whatever. But isn't the other thing? I thought the outrage was because now Cap is an old man,
Right.
So he lost like the super serum or whatever.
It just accelerated
aged.
his age to what he's
And so
supposed
they're
to be.
going to make Falcon Captain America.
That's what the
supposedly.
honkies are really mad about. Let's not split hairs here. Yeah.
That's what I was assuming because he had.
That's what
actually-
I thought at first, and then I did more research.
He sent me a message and said, there's an outrage about this, and I'm like, there's a petition to get him kicked off the book, right?
Yeah, they want. It's like a firerickremender.com.
So I'm assuming that this started in the
It
South.
would be cool if they fire him off all of his like comic book writing gigs. I could probably hire him here at the shop.
Well, dude, then he could just work on Black Science and Deadly Class all the time. And I mean, as much as I love Uncanny Avengers and the Cap, I'd rather just have more deadly class.
Creative
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean,
Yeah, it's all good. It's good to get a paycheck.
that's true. That's very true.
Yeah. And I think it's, I'm sure he thinks it's awesome that people want to fire. Like, that means you're doing
How
something.
could you not? Right, exactly. You're doing
If
something
people
right.
hate you or love you, like, you want to either be hated or loved. You don't want to be anything in between. That's just boring.
Who needs a beer? Joe?
Joe, you need
Joe.Baxter?
a beer?
No? Okay.
Rick Remender needs a beer.
Let's talk.
The person who wants to fire him needs a beer.
First of all, I want to say, last episode I talked about Darker in June. They have I found out how to pronounce it. It's Patreon. It's a website. And basically, creators can put their content on there and you can subscribe to it. So I recently subscribed to their content. They have, just go. It's Patreon. And then when you go there, search Darker June. And Darker... the company's Darker in June, but I think you can search whatever Darker June. That's their Twitter, so that I keep going back to that. But anyway, it's really cool. It's well worth subscribing to, and I really think it's cool. I feel like this is a way that they're embracing the digital thing, and I know he has plans to do like the tactile stuff as well. But it's a more immediate thing for a smaller company. I think it's very, very cool. I want to throw that out there. I also want to throw out. I recently stumbled across. There is a British film that's coming out soon. It's very independent. It was actually funded by a Kickstarter. It's called The Fitzroy. Mm-hmm. And right now they're kickstarting a comic. So here's the deal. Fitzroy, it's post-apocalyptic. The whole world is covered in poison gas. It's British.
Kickstarter.
It's British. Nice. It's
Sorry.
British
Make
made.
it rain.
Put that in the mail. It's British made, which immediately it's better than anything that's not. Or most anything. Maybe not Rick Remender stuff. Or David Lapham's, but whatever.
Or Stallone.
Definitely, yes. Well, no. You snuck that in.
No,
anyway,
I didn't.
we'll go back to that. So,
where's your patriotism?
the Fitzroy is a beached submarine where people still go in this post-apocalyptic world for a summer holiday. And I've not seen the film. It's not out yet. They kickstarted it. It looks fantastic. If you search this, just type in the Fitzroy movie in Google, you'll find it. And so they have like a very rich world that they've created. And so they've gotten a bunch of creators together, and they're kickstarting a comic right now to kind of further explore the world. It just looks so cool. And you know what? I'm sorry. I love gas masks. Like,
Did you get a gas mask?
I have several gas masks. No, you don't. But I have several gas masks at home. There's one hanging on my wall.
Have you seen Right at Your Door?
Have I seen what?
Right at Your Door?
No.
Have you seen that?
No, but oh my god.
There's a gas mask on the cover. It's a great movie.
Yes.
So,
Is it good?
It's fantastic.
Okay.
And it's done. You don't even have to fund it. You can just rent it.
All right. I'll see it. I remember reading about it at some point within the last 3 years.
It's really good.
Okay.
There it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I want to throw those two things out there. I also want to throw out. This is not a comic book, and Mike kind of gave me shit because he's like, this is a book. I don't see any pictures. So there is an author named Laird Barron, and he is my favorite author right now. I mean, he's oh my god, he's so good. There's this weird fiction thing that like Robert M. Chambers, who, the True Detective storyline was kind of based on his Yellow King stuff, and then Lovecraft, obviously, and August Derleth, and Robert E. Howard. They're all kind of tied to this weird fiction thing, right? And it goes back to the 20s, 30s. So there's kind of a new weird going on, and Laird Barron, as far as I'm concerned, he transcends it. His stuff is so good. He's written 3... At first I thought they were anthologies, but he refers to them in interviews as mosaic novels, and it makes sense. He has a kind of a cosmology, and everything kind of ties back into it, but not directly always, and there's some characters that overlap or are mentioned, but it's not super direct. But so Rossi Lockhart is a guy, he started this Word Horde Press, and he just put out this anthology where it's other writers writing in Laird Barron's kind of mythos.
So is this guy not around anymore? Or?
No, he's still around. Oh my god, he's amazing. Do yourself a favor, go to iTunes, type in Laird Barron. When it comes up for podcasts, click on, there's a great podcast, Tales to Terrify. They do a lot of public domain stuff, so they do a lot of Robert E. Howard and Chambers and stuff. But there is, I forget the gentleman's name that reads Laird Barron's story. It's one of the best things I've ever heard. And I'm not really one for like audiobooks.
So Laird Barron is an author, right? He's not
an
a
author.
character.
He's not a character. But so I ordered this book. I pre-ordered it before it came out, and Paul Tremblay is another gentleman who writes in this weird fiction thing, and so you get the book, and you got a bunch of cool word horde stuff like stickers and whatnot. But then the story that Paul Tremblay did in here, which is
It's called The Barn in the Wild.
Yes. So notes on The Barn in the Wild, right? If I'm not mistaken.
But the story's probably called.
So the story's in here, but the story is also presented in this like school notebook fashion. I haven't read the story yet. I just got this and I haven't really had the time, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Cool.
And I just it's such a cool package. So Word Horde Press. It's not a comic, but here's where the tie-in is. Yeah. Somebody start making some freaking comics about Laird Barron's mythology, because
there it is.
It is crazy awesome good. And if you like Lovecraft, I'm just gonna say this: I love Lovecraft. I've loved him for over 20 years. Laird Barron, it's just better. It's the
better
way
than Lovecraft.
It's just it's not the same thing. So I shouldn't say that. It's apples and oranges. But you know the way when you read the Ultimates, you're like, the first two Ultimates, you're like, this is kind of better than the Marvel Universe. Because it's got the hindsight.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it has that modern injection of.
It's just,
you just hit upon, I think, the right word, which is modern, because having listened to that the narrated Laird Barron short story,
I can't think of the name,
and having read some H.P. Lovecraft, if you're curious about Lovecraft and you kind of like supernatural noir stuff and you find it difficult, starting with Laird Barron could be
a better way to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
An easy way in.
Like a gateway drug to Lovecraft.
Exactly.
His stuff is so good because he kind of blends like pulp and noir with the kind of weird Lovecraft cosmic horror stuff, and he just does it so well. And every time he puts a book out, I read it. I'm like, dude, like you feel him getting better, and it's just such a cool thing. Like he's put out a succession of these mosaic novels where it's short stories that tie together. Over the course, like the last 4 years, has I think been 3, and each one is like, holy shit, level up, and they're good, and it's a joy to see somebody really coming into his own.
You might have just sold me on that.
Fantastic.
Sounds good.
What's interesting to me is, you know how when we were all in school and we studied like Greek and Roman mythology, I feel like Laird Barron has created almost a Native American or indigenous peoples mythology for America and Canada.
Yeah, a lot of his stuff has to do with Alaska, because he lived there for a while. He raced Iditarod like 3 times.
How
the tie-in! Oh my god. Yeah, let me have another one.
This tastes like Laird Barron.
Gee.
Who knew?
That's bizarre. Well, okay. I'll believe you. Hey.
See how I tie it together?
To Laird Barron in Alaska.
So one of those over there?
Huh? You of course.
Oh, sorry.
Joe.
Here. Oh, and hold on, before I want to do this. I didn't get a chance to do this last time. Black Snow Comics sent us these awesome bottle openers.
Oh, those
right?
are the guys we talked about.
Yes, and so they had the graphic novel, two Drink Minimum. Mm-hmm. They sent us these. I finished it since we did that. We didn't get a chance to talk about it last episode. It was fantastic. Here you are, sir.
Black Snow. Yeah. Cool.
I had vowed I wouldn't stand up and walk away from the table anymore, but I'm
That's
a little
okay.
buzzed, so
they can cut it.
But yeah, but so
I guess
I will say the two drink minimum.
They can cut it.
Really, like the way that it ended, I can't wait for the next one.
I
just absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. Drink up. So,
beer, dude?
No, thank you.
Big Trouble in Little China. I started on this. I don't know where I went, but anyway, really. Oh, we finished with it. Okay, so
yeah, we finished.
Yeah. Okay.
How about the comics from the '80s that left a mark on you?
So let's talk about comics from the '80s.
That left a mark on you.
Yes.
Oh, that left a mark.
Yeah, it did.
That left a major mark.
So
you got a fucking GI Joe tattoo, really?
No, I don't. No. Let's start with. Well, you know what? We're talking about Captain America. Let's start here. So if you liked the Winter Soldier, Captain America, some of the ideas in it, like S.H.I.E.L.D. being corrupt, were borrowed or taken from in 88, 89.
Adapted. It's all owned by the series.
There's a series, it was a prestige format. So this is pre-graphic novels or trade paper. Well, no, pre-trade paperbacks being the regular thing, right? So they would do these prestige series where they were like 350, right? I think they're like 48 pages roughly.
One of these is actually taller than the other.
That's weird. Might be a printing thing. But So they did this series, Nick Fury versus S.H.I.E.L.D., and basically it starts out where Nick Fury finds out S.H.I.E.L.D.'s been infiltrated by Hydra. It's
Jim Steranko did this cover, which
it's really,
that's
really
tits,
good.
dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, there are actually tits on that cover.
No, no. Talking about
Yeah, actually, to tell you the truth, there's a lot of tits on the covers of these.
Fury,
But anyway,
dude.
Madam Hydra likes to show them off. So,
Nick Fury's in the audience tonight, actually.
is he?
Look at him.
Hi, Nick.
Kind of. Go ahead.
Oh no,
I forgot to tell you that I'm actually the Black Widow.
Awesome.
I know. So,
That was the right answer.
it's a really cool series, and so I cracked it out about a year ago and started reading it, and you have to understand that when you go back to this 80s stuff, a lot of it's not written as sophisticated. It's not a shot. It's the way that it is, right? So there's things like exposition in people's mouths, or there's I don't think I brought the first issue, but there's like people will be like, well, as you know, Nick, you hired me to infiltrate Roxxon's company, and and it's like people giving you this exposition, these backstories, this information,
Right.
as if they're talking to this character, and it's like
You're just trying to tell us the story.
it's just the way that it was then, right? Now, so a year ago when I cracked Nick Fury vs. S.H.I.E.L.D. out, I kind of had a problem reading it because of that. Now, recently I've been reading a lot of 80s comics, and I actually have had no problem because I've never realized this before. It's what you are currently reading. So if you're reading a bunch of stuff on the shelves now, like
Right.
Stray Bullets, Remender, whatever, Bendis,
Yeah.
it's going to seem a little archaic and like wordy and kind of awkward. But if you're not reading a lot of that and you're reading some of the other stuff, and it probably helps that I lived through it and read it when it came out, you can kind of get a feel for it, and you're like, okay, and it doesn't seem as awkward to me. And
the comics are more self-aware now, I think.
they're totally
they're
self-aware.
just,
That's well said.
They don't want to, have exposition
Yes.
in the dialogue, so they don't do that, And like another thing they don't do so much that they used to do back in the day, they'd have thought balloons.
Now,
And thought balloons went away.
they did, but I swear to God, I just heard that within the last 6 months, and I was like, oh my God, I never realized that. But then
That was something that Bendis, I think, played a big part in revolutionizing, was getting rid of thought balloons.
Thought balloons?
Yeah.
But I feel like I
comics
just
are
read something
visual.
that had thought balloons. So
You might. I mean, it's only a matter of time before they bring them back.
Yeah, that's true.
Or some writer does, anyway. But yeah, he kind of, revolutionized. I don't know if it's revolutionized.
No,
I mean,
it is. It
it's
totally
taking
is.
one of the tools out of the toolbox.
It
of
totally
comics.
is. Because you don't really need it. And I mean,
but
this is good, but it definitely suffers from thought balloons.
let's see if there's. Oh, there are thought balloons in this.
Oh my! Nick Fury is just constantly, oh my God, she
Oh,
almost
yeah.
killed me. It's a
Oh,
good
my
thing
God.
that I'm such a old
There
cantankerous.
you go. I'm gonna read just the thought balloons. Scanner says I can't be too far away. Beeper agrees, but I don't recognize a thing in this mess. Babe, they really did a job on you. And this is just him thinking. But we did it to ourselves. Something just ain't right anymore. I think this shit too. Like the last few years, there's been so many mishaps. Agents stepping out of line. Sometimes I think I ought to pack it in. But then he says out loud, "Well, kiss my nose."
I'm 3 issues in now, and
Oh yeah, Outcast picked up by Cinemax.
Outcast by Cinemax.
I know,
So it's
right?
gonna be a porno.
Oh yeah.
I didn't get so it's good. So Outcast, Science Officer Sarah just handed us a thing that said Outcast by Kirkman, which we just talked about, has already been picked up by Cinemax, which leads me to believe that who's the one married to Gene Simmons? It's not Tracy.
Nobody married Gene Simmons.
No, it's or the one that's like his.
Yeah, I know, the blonde.
Not Tracy Lords, the other one.
Not Shania Twain.
No,
Jenna
Shannon
Jameson.
Tweed.
Shannon Tweed. Dude, right? The initials.
Skinamax.
Yeah. Is she on Skinamax?
I don't know. Isn't that what she's famous for?
Probably.
But so she'll be starring in it. I mean, when I read the first issue, I didn't get a feel for softcore porn, but I mean, maybe it's going that way.
Who knows?
Or maybe Cinemax is like, we're going to be the new FX.
Who knows?
Who knows? But anyway, okay, so Nick Fury versus S.H.I.E.L.D., very good. Now.
So that left a mark on you in the 80s?
Yeah, big time. Big time. You have one?
Crystar, the Crystal Warrior, dude, was
I've
one of
never
my
read
favorites.
that. I've always wondered.
I mean, I don't know how it holds up, but so you had like G.I. Joe hit big. I think Crystar might have been a little bit around the same time as G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I think it was.
But I almost missed the G.I. Joe book. I missed those first couple issues, and they were just super hard to get. And the toy, like I'm a completist, so the toy line of G.I. Joe was very hard to keep up with. But
Yeah.
Crystar was DOA, dude. It was dead on arrival.
So it was easy to
They made like 9 figures. You could feasibly get them all, like on a child's budget. And in the comic, lasted for 2 years.
Really?
But it was like the first 3 months it was monthly, and then suddenly like this shit ain't working. So it was like every 6 weeks, and it was like bi-monthly. So it was super easy for me to keep up, and it lasted 11 issues. And it was cool. It was like this prince and his brother, and he.
Wait, not Prince the performer.
No, not Prince.
Oh, this Prince.
This
I thought
Prince. It was actually like Spin Doctors, 2 princes.
Oh.
There was Prince Crystar, who.
And that's the first time Spin Doctors have been name checked in 10 years.
Somebody's ears are ringing, right?
Wow.
It's probably that fucking who.
Wait, that light just went on.
That's
What does
awesome.
that mean? Is the Spin
That means
Doctors guy actually out there? Do you think he's got a Google
motion
alert set up?
detection.
Go home! It was a mistake!
Yeah, sorry.
We meant the Saw Doctors!
This one used to send me flowers. So go ahead.
now.
This one turned into crystal shards, and the other one went into a volcano and turned into Moltar.
Is that how the...
So his
that,
brother
oh, good. No,
went
that
bad. And you know what happens when you go bad? You never go glad, right? He fell into a volcano, came out as Moltar, Prince Moltar, and then Crystar became the hardened Crystal Warrior. And yeah, I mean it was that shit sticks with me. It was really cool artwork. It was fun.
It sounds rad.
Sword and sorcery.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
It sounds... I said rad. Holy shit.
You're a kid now.
Wow, yeah. It's... You know what it sounds like to me?
Yeah.
Which... I think we're going to end on this. I brought a stack of 80s comics. We're going to make it a regular feature. Good night and Godspeed. And
God bless you.
buy
We
some
love you.
comics, buy some beer. Just have a great
just be good.
2 weeks
Just
until you see us again.
Don't do anything wrong.
Be good to everyone.